Good afternoon, Honolulu, Hawaii, and rest of world. It is that time. It is time for another entry into the Honolulu Ride Musings section of the Chari Sumisu vlog cast. Uh, it was another rough day at Diamond Head just the other day. Um, I went up there because I was scheduled for a few hours easy ride, and I wasn't making laps of Diamond Head hoping that people were going to be all over the bike path, but lo and behold, they were, right? As I state in the little disclaimer at the beginning, and if you want to, just go ahead and rewind it, pause it there and read it, right? I'm not doing this to shame anybody or embarrass or any of those petty actions that oftentimes online it looks to me like people are doing on purpose. I want nothing to do with that, right? I'm just trying to get this information out there, and I hope that it will fall, as it says on the disclaimer, that this information will fall into the laps of decision makers, stakeholders, those that have a vested interest in using the roads of Honolulu for whatever activity that may be, whether it's driving your car from point A to point B, riding a bicycle for exercise or transportation, or jogging and running for uh, exercise, or even walking for transportation, right? That's all I'm doing here. And, I do want to start with the fact that when I started this cycling sport in Hawaii about 10 years ago now, it was 2009 or so, there were two bike paths on the whole island, right? Two bike lanes. There was the one on Diamond Head, which is where most of, in my experience, the infractions, if you will, are taking place. And there was the one down the Olawai, right? That was it. That's it. There was nothing more. There were no Sharrows. There certainly was no King Street cycle track. There was nothing. Diamond Head and Olawai. That's it. And mostly during Kirk Caldwell's time in office, and say what you will about him or the rail or whatever you'd like about government in the state of Hawaii in general, say what you will, the fact remains that during Kirk Caldwell's administration, we have had a number of great additions to the cycling infrastructure here in Honolulu, to make it easier, hopefully, for us to move around this city on a bicycle, which is awesome. And again, I'm doing this since I have been beaten, maimed, battered by cars myself personally. Many of my close friends have as well. I personally do not know anybody that I would call a friend that has died, but I do know two people that I knew them by name, face, we would recognize each other. I wouldn't really call them friends, but still, they're the people I know. And in fact, the one incident, I was actually there when it occurred, right? So, jogging and running isn't my thing, right? I like to train for and race road bicycles. I have ever since I started doing this. You'll hear me say that over and over. That is my passion. But I understand that it's very important to some people that might want to train for triathlon, or they're just joggers or runners or whatnot. That's great, right? And the way I say it, it's all up to us, and we all drive cars and other engine-powered vehicles to move around the city. So we understand what it's like to do both, but there's many car drivers that don't, right? And so the way I see it, it's up to us that aren't in vehicles to look out for each other, because the cars certainly are not, right? So I'm doing this hoping that all of us as users of these roads can protect each other from the cars until, and again, Hawaii is always a number of years behind many things that happen on the mainland or in the rest of the world. But something we're already behind on is multi-purpose paths, right? So it took this long to get the bicycle lanes and other infrastructure that you see. It's going to take a much longer time to get multi-purpose paths, right? So for the time being, in the laws, in the Hawaii revised statutes, right? And you can go read the bicycle law if you want. I have many times. For the time being, there are many things that are called bike lanes, right? And this Diamond Head one is one of them, right? And so every time there's one of these clusters that are going on up there, you know, it can understandably, I think, be frustrating, right? But I want to say to the joggers and the runners, I totally understand where you're coming from, right? Because just as the cars don't understand why I may not be as far right as I can be, which oftentimes has to do with the condition of our roads here in Honolulu, right? So nobody likes to drive their cars on terrible roads. So it's even worse on a bicycle, right? So I understand that you folks, you joggers and runners, it's hard for you to run where the terrain is bad. I get it, right? No problem. And especially with some of the pavement projects going on, the bike lane is often better than the sidewalk. Okay, so you guys want to, and again, let's just concentrate on Diamond Head because where all the following videos are going to be. Let's just talk about that, right? So you got a sidewalk that's kind of narrow. It's not well maintained, right? And so you got this bike path, and it looks to me like many of you are coming out there, and well, I'll just go out here. A number of my friends have mentioned that, you know, they'll want to say, oh, it's because of the ongoing pandemic, you know, and here we are early September 2020, and we have a new shutdown, a new stay-at-home order in place. And so some people are wanting to tell me that, oh, it's because of distancing, we're supposed to stay 6 feet apart, so some of the joggers must be trying to avoid other people, so they're coming out like this. But that's not true, right? I mean, I've been watching this take place, again, my whole 10 years of doing this over here. Folks want to occupy the bike path. And it's really bad right now, in my opinion, because it's like the Honolulu Marathon training window time, which in my experience for the past 10 years is when, especially around Diamond Head, this gets really bad, right? So with the stay home at order, people are getting claustrophobic, they want to go outside, and so they want to jog and run and walk and stuff. And yeah, Diamond Head's one of the coolest places around Honolulu Central to do that, right? So I think, I mean, of course, there's a little bit that I've noticed that I can tell people are wanting to stay away from other joggers and stuff, so they pop out in the bike lane. But that's not the problem. It's not going to go away when the virus goes away. People are still going to be occupying the bike lanes, right? So this is what I want to talk about. And as you will see, as we look at the following examples, I'm going to offer a solution right now, right? And I'm going to do that at the beginning of all these videos and during them as well, and maybe even at the end of them. But for now, let me just offer this solution. I think it's a great solution, and it's a negotiation, right? It's a willingness, I believe, to work together on this, right? So what I suggest is this, okay? Yeah, you folks come at us, again, against traffic, okay? So I don't know what the law is for a pedestrian, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be moving with traffic. But I understand that you don't want to do that because you want to be able to see your surroundings, and you don't want a car coming up behind you. That's awesome. Or a bicycle coming up behind you even. That's great. I get it. I wish I could do that, but we definitely can't. It's in the law. We got to go with traffic. And when you feel that, oh, you know, the sidewalk is bad, so I'm just going to go over here where the road's nice and smooth. Okay, that's fine. You know, come use the bike lane, right? Okay, so now here you are coming at us, so you can see everything that's going on, right? You can tell if there's a car coming up what is behind me coming at you in the bike lane, right? So if you see a car there, and again, I'm just talking about one person being alone, not a group, right? Because I mean, it's the point, you're 4 and 5 wide, right? And you still don't want to move. You keep coming at me like that, right? So I'm just talking about one person right now. If you see that there's a car coming, you have to move, right? It's not up to me to look over my shoulder and for me to go out in front of the car, right? It just doesn't make sense. I'm in the bike lane, right? You guys have to move, okay? Now, if there is no car coming, and again, since you can see everything that's going on back there, and I think you don't do this because you're just uncomfortable being in the streets of Honolulu. We as cyclists, again, have been doing this for a very long time, and we're very comfortable being surrounded by all these cars. You know, I mean, it is what it is, right? We have to deal with it. There's nothing else we can do, right? So I think many of you might be hesitant or you don't think about this because you're just uncomfortable out there anyway, right? But if there's no car coming, right, and I'm coming like this and you're coming like this, how about if you go out here into the street, right? And you go around me and you come in. You come back into the bike lane and I just maintain in the bike lane the whole time, right? If you did that, it would be great, right? So no problem. Use the bike lane, come against me, because I understand why you're doing all of it. But it's up to you folks to move, not us. So I'm going to end it on that, and we're going to have a look at these most recent examples, which some of them are pretty entertaining. And on that note, let's try and look out for each other, take care of each other, okay? For tomorrow, we ride! Thanks for watching. Alright, these are come fast and furious, so here we go. Alright, I think they knew they were messing up. One of them tried to move. Moving right along. This lady does not give a Rip Van Winkle. Just gonna stay on her phone and keep on keeping on. Here we go. Moving right along. Now this gentleman, understandably so, he looked a little disturbed, so can't really hold that against him. Alright, more objects in the bike path. We got some garbage cans. That's always a good time. Now this one's going to be real interesting here as this guy in the distance here saw what was coming and he decided to at first he was going to do what I proposed, which is move out into the street, but then he saw the car coming. So what do you have to do? He had to check himself and move over onto the sidewalk. The lady moving with traffic the whole time was completely oblivious and just kept on keeping on until I went by. She saw the camera and then kind of nonchalantly, you know, moved over onto the sidewalk when it was convenient, you know, I guess where she didn't have to go over the curb. Okay, again, moving with traffic, so can't really see what's coming up behind him. He's trying to stay hard right. This lady couldn't give two squirts, staying hard left, sees the camera. Uh-oh, I messed up, moves right. Okay, here we come with a door and surfer action in the bike lane. Always a good time. That's never ending. Get lots of that. This is cool. She's staying right. If you don't mind doing this, yeah, maybe try that. You know, just hang hard right. I'll come by on your left. Couldn't give two squirts. Still couldn't give two squirts. Just going to occupy that bike lane. Like a boss. Alright, now this guy, yeah, just moving right along there. Minding his business. And this is a really good one here. I like this one. You know, the look on this guy's face as I go by is like, again, I'm wrong. And he's got every right to be doing what he's doing. Somehow, you know, he looks like he's upset at me. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, another guy staying hard right. And if you don't mind this, bike's coming up on your left. This doesn't seem like a bad situation. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.